Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse, and I'm not wearing the Pete hat today for a reason, because I'm not going to talk about movies today. I'm going to talk about something that happened in the last day or so. It's actually two things that happened in the last day or so that sort of stuck in my craw and sort of brought a few things home to me. I've made no secret about it that I don't do well. I have to go to 3 food pantries a month to make ends meet. It's not something I'm proud of. It's not something I really want to do. But unfortunately, being that my income is pretty much what I get from Social Security and whatever I can hustle on this camera sometimes as I sell stuff here and on Facebook and shit like that just to make ends meet. It isn't like I can go out and at 70 years old get a fucking job. Because, I consider it a part-time job, and to me a part-time job is maybe 4 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week. No, they want 8-hour days. Sorry, I can't stand up 8 hours, and being that working retail isn't something I want to do anymore because the customers are nasty. Let's just put it that way. Since the pandemic and a bunch of other stuff, people have shitty attitudes in a lot of areas, and I don't want to deal with it. But unfortunately, this shitty attitude that people have came home to roost the other day, because there is a church that gets BJ's day-old pastries and bread, and they give it to people like me. Unfortunately, with this church, though, they don't regulate anything. A bunch of people gather by a door, the buzzer goes off at noon, it's supposed to stay open till 2, but these people pretty much grab everything they can and run out, so it's over in like 10 minutes. The problem I had was there's certain people that are there every fucking day. The only day it's not open is Thursday, but there's certain people that are there every day, and they have no problem with elbowing people out of the way to get in first. And what happened yesterday was I saw an older woman who was basically given an elbow shot in the ribs by this man to get into the place, and she was basically almost in tears, and I walked up to her and I says, "Let me walk you to your car. Where's your car?" So I walked her to the car and I said, "I'm going to make a phone call." And she says, "Please do. This man, every time I come here, this man intimidates me and pushes me out of the way." I said, "Fine." So I had seen this guy do the same shit to other people too, and there's a couple other guys there that do it. There's also a couple of women there that do it too, with this elbowing and coming in with a friggin' shopping bag and loading it up with stuff and not leaving anything for anybody else. Ideally, there should be somebody there regulating this, and maybe 2 items a person. So I call the church. I get the runaround. I basically say what I saw, and they said, "Well, it's first come, first served, and it is what it is, and we would have to put a volunteer out there." And I almost said I'd volunteer, but probably I would deck somebody at this stage of the game. So, all right, I'm a little tweaked at this whole thing because I know nothing's going to be fucking done. The only other thing they said was they can end the program, which doesn't benefit anybody. So I was doing my running around, and I decided to go back today. And that guy was there today. And what I did was, when the doors opened, I threw my fucking arm like this out in front of him and blocked him from going in so the other 2 women and the one guy could get in there. He wasn't too happy about it. So he left. So I asked the 2 gentlemen who were there when this happened, I said, "Why didn't you guys say anything yesterday when all the shit was going down?" You know what I got in response? We had problems with him ourselves, but we really don't want to say anything to him because what if he comes back with a gun? This, my friends, is the big equalizer in this country, that somebody you're going to piss off or bump into is going to come back with a fucking gun. And it's happened too many motherfucking times. Like in Texas. Everything seems to happen in Texas because of that crippled-ass douchebag who refuses to do anything about fucking regulating guns there. I really don't give a shit if you own a gun. I mean, I own a gun to protect myself from the other assholes that own guns. I don't walk around and carry it. I don't flash it. I don't flaunt it. I don't fucking put it on the internet and show everybody how fucking tough I am and shit like that. But yeah, basically 2 grown men told me that they wouldn't come to a woman's defense who was obviously in her 80s and obviously distressed because they're afraid that this slimy little prick would come back with a gun. Now, am I afraid that he's going to come back with a gun? No, I could care less. And if he does, he better kill me with the first shot, because I'll take it away from him and stick it up his ass. And I'm not being cavalier. I'm not being a fucking hero. I'm just stating facts. I've been held up 2 or 3 times in my life when I was working as a mechanic in a service station with fucking guns, and I even got pistol whipped. So it's not an uncommon occurrence for me, unfortunately. So that's one thing. And whether I did the right or wrong thing by blocking this guy or pissing him off, don't care. I'm just tired of people that are arrogant and selfish and greedy and shove everybody else out of the way, and then the thing in the back of their mind is, he might come back with a gun. I shouldn't bother with him. Fuck that, really. Fuck that. Like I said to him today, fuck you, all right? You don't intimidate older women. And like I said, a lot of these people are taking way more than they need, so obviously they're doing something else with it. So that's my first problem. My second problem is that I had contracted an artist to draw a new cover for Gunfighters of the Drunken Master. I did this at the bequest of a good friend of mine who wanted to give this guy a sort of opportunity to do something. And he was happy about the opportunity to do something until he read the book. Now, this is a 40-something-year-old man who got triggered because he read what I wrote. It's politically incorrect, it's this, it's that. It's a fucking job, you asshole. And if you had taken the job, you might have gotten some good exposure, because it isn't like nobody reads my shit, it's because they do read my shit. But this is another, I don't know, what category he falls into, this boomer, Gen X, whatever the fuck it is. He's a 40-year-old man who can't get his shit together, who thinks he's talented, and maybe he is, and I will admit, I've seen some of his work, he is talented. But coming off like you did, and again, you didn't even contact me. You contacted my friend and blew it off, and she was going to pay you a few $100s to do this. Now, my friend, you've blown it, because I could give a shit less. I'll use an old cover, I won't give a shit, and the thing will sell just as the other books have. I don't understand these people. Then the other thing comes out, well, this isn't Grindhouse. How the fuck would you know what Grindhouse is? You weren't even around when there was a Grindhouse there, and he said something about Sin City. Sin City isn't a Grindhouse film. Really? That's your idea of a Grindhouse film? Actually, you know something? You did me a huge fucking favor by not taking the job, because I don't have to deal with your stupid ass anymore. So, that's my little rant. I'm sorry if it isn't what you want to hear, but I honestly felt that I should address this situation, because I'm probably not the only one dealing with it. And again, I really don't like having to go and rely on food pantries to get what I need to survive. And to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff I get, I can't use because it's high in salt and all kinds of other shit. And that I give to my neighbors that also need help, because none of us are doing good around here. I don't know about anybody else in this world, but none of us are doing really good. And we're all trying to just keep afloat. And that to deal with the shit that I had to deal with some greedy little prick, doesn't fucking happen. Doesn't work for me. And again, I would do it again, and I will go back there again. And if he wants to get in my face, fine. That's fine. I don't care. But I am not about to stand by idly and watch some miserable, slimy little prick push an older woman out of the way so he can get a box of cupcakes before anybody else. So that's our show for today. If I offended anybody, hey, too bad. But it ain't all about movies sometimes. Sometimes it's about life, and sometimes life takes precedence. So until next time, stay safe, try to help each other, because we ain't got the government, boys and girls. All we got is each other. Realize that.